Shizaki over here also got word that the cops are lurking around. He jumped straight into planning how to deal with it. A bit later, all the heroes show up near their hideout. According to Naitai, the base is crazy complicated. Right now they only know one shortest path to Eri's holding room. The heroes need to move fast so the villains do not have time to react. Midoriya does not see Gran Torino anywhere, so he looks confused. Naitai notices and explains. Seems like the League of Villains is up to something too, so Torino went to investigate. The mission begins. This time the police are joining in to keep things running smooth. They are about to ring the bell and ask nicely for a chat, when a giant dude bursts out, forcing Izawa and Midoriya to jump in and save the cops. The rank 9 hero instantly transforms into a dragon and restrains him so the squad can rush in. The small fry guarding the door obviously cannot stop this many heroes. But beneath the base, the heroes will have to face 7 top fighters Chisaki recruited if they want to save Eri. A little flashback about Amajiki. As a kid, he was super introverted, like, next level introverted. Back then, nobody in class wanted to play with him. Only Togata was the first one to talk to him. And from that moment, it was like the sun broke through. Togata became this bright light in his eyes. And even now, the guy is sprinting ahead like a shining star, showing him exactly where to go. Back to the present. The villains have sent almost their whole gang to stall for as long as possible. But the key heroes for this mission have already gotten inside. From Naitai's memory, this vase here needs a passcode. Just follow the order he remembers and it opens by itself. Suddenly, 3 guys jump out trying to scare them. The heroes quickly pin all 3 down so everyone else can head deeper. But up ahead is a dead end, totally different from what Naitai saw earlier. Togata decides to phase through and check if it is actually blocked. Do not worry, his suit is made from his own hair, so it is not going to fall off. If he kept flashing everyone, the ladies would pass out. And just like he guessed, the wall is only there because of Chisaki's ability. Midoriya and Kirishima hear this and smash the wall easily. Suddenly the whole tunnel starts warping and twisting. Only Irinaka could pull something like this off. He definitely pumped himself with something to control a tunnel this huge. Amajiki starts panicking again, insisting everything is already too late. He keeps spiraling, but Togata speaks up, saying that with him here, this trick is nothing. There will be a way through, so no stress. Then Togata charges ahead alone using his phasing ability. He is the only one who can get past it. Everyone else gets dropped into another level to face 3 tough opponents. Amajiki speaks up, telling everyone to let him handle all 3. He says he has this covered, so they do not need to worry. The criminals lose patience and rush in, but Izawa cancels their quirks on the spot. Amajiki seizes the moment, turns his arm into an octopus tentacle, and grabs all 3. He studied their abilities carefully, so he knows exactly how to handle this. He yells, telling Fat Gum to go ahead and leave this mess to him. Fat Gum immediately leads the squad forward. Before leaving, Izawa erases all 3 villains' quirks again. He tells Amajiki to settle things fast before the effect wears off. Amajiki is about to take out all 3 with one clean move when a villain suddenly counters. Izawa's quirk erase time is too short, so they have fully recovered their abilities. Now it is a real 1 versus 3. The crystal guy strikes first, forcing Amajiki into another flashback. Last year in gym class, failing to show his skills in front of everyone made him super insecure. Togata was the same back then, still not fully controlling his quirk. But he never sulked. He even smiled like it was no big deal. After school, Amajiki opened up to him about all his negative feelings. Togata immediately disagreed with everything he said. He told him, "I try my best because you are here. Seeing you give it your all without running away, even when you are terrified, makes me not want to fall behind. You are my sunshine, someone with real strength. You are also genuinely fun and interesting." And of course, after a flashback, characters always power up. I am way too used to anime doing this. After remembering all that, Amajiki becomes calmer, more confident, and sharper. He shifts into a full monster form, with octopus tentacles as his main offense. Looks like he could crush all 3 of them in a heartbeat. But the glutton wakes up and eats every tentacle he throws out. And all 3 of them coordinate insanely well, leaving him no time to react. They keep beating him down non-stop, but he refuses to give up. First, he kicks a crystal shard into the eye of the quirk-stealing guy to disable his ability. Next, he uses the crystal he ate earlier to block the big guy's attack. Finally, he stretches his leg to pull them all into one spot. Just 3 basic steps. But handling 3 alone is still wild. Because of that, he is too exhausted to move on. Midoriya and Kirishima are really worried about Emojiki. But once you start running, you cannot exactly turn back now. As Awa keeps feeling something is off. They have been running forever, but Aranaka still has not shown up to mess with them. Meanwhile, the heroes on the other side finish off the 3 blocking their path. She wonders if these guys are crazy, risking their lives just to stall the heroes. They confess the truth. Chisaki took full control of the gang while their boss was sick. If they do not obey him, the only outcome is death. Back with Midoriya's group, just like Izawa suspected, Aranaka appears and separates him from the team. Fat Gum rushes forward and shoves him aside, shielding him. But unexpectedly, Kirishima also dives in and gets dragged inside with them. More importantly, someone is charging at them with steel hard fists. Kirishima, feeling extra bold, pushes his power to the max and blocks the punch and ends up launched into the wall. Fat Gum handles it better since his body absorbs impacts. That thick fat layer lets him stay surprisingly fine after that barrage of punches. But Kirishima is the opposite. His rock armor is nowhere near enough for those heavy hits. Fat Gum decides to strike back, but a shield suddenly appears and blocks everything for the enemy. Turns out he is not alone. Another guy with a shield quirk steps out from the shadows. Steel Fist charges in again, throwing punch after punch at Fat Gum. Even if he blocks most of them, Constant Rain still soaks through. Beat on even a tank long enough and it falls, so this is no joke. Right now Kirishima is blaming himself for being too arrogant. He thought he was already strong, but turns out he is weaker than he imagined. Fat Gum immediately snaps Kirishima out of that mindset. If your spirit shatters, that is when you definitely lose. As long as you are breathing, you can still fight back, so double down until the end for me. It seems these 2 villains do not fully agree with each other. One wants to charge in like a raging bull, the other wants to play it safe. This is basically a battle of spear against shield, while the other side has 2 shields stacked together. Fat Gum decides to use that weakness to pull off his special move. It might be an all-or-nothing gamble. He starts taunting Steel Fist, telling him to come at him if he is so tough. Time to see if the spear can pierce the shield, or if the shield will smash the spear to pieces. Of course the hot-headed one wants to test it, but Kirishima has no idea what Fat Gum is really planning. He just thinks Fat Gum is trying to protect him. He keeps blaming himself for being useless. His eyes right now are filled with fear. That vacant stare can only watch Fat Gum taking more and more hits. If this keeps up, Fat Gum really might die. But I have to say, Kirishima has now started flashing back to his past. Since he was small, he has always had a strong sense of justice. But his strength never matched that overflowing spirit. Back then his body was only a bit tougher than a normal person. He tried hard, but it only got a little tougher. Meanwhile Aceto just had to show up and say a few words, and everyone suddenly became close. At that time Aceto was basically the school goddess. Kirishima believed that if he trained, results would come. He looked at Saitama as an example, training every day until you go bald. But reality was way harsher. One day after school on his way home, Kirishima saw a criminal asking to girls from his school for directions. He really wanted to help, but his legs would not follow what his head was screaming. He could only stand there and watch in despair. Suddenly Aceto appeared and gave the guy directions. Right after he left, she collapsed and burst into tears. In that moment, Kirishima realized just how useless he really was. He had read an article about a middle school boy who risked everything to save his friend. He told himself he did not have the qualities of a true hero at all. When his life was on the line, he was just like everyone else, just like Midoriya. He was also a huge fan of a hero with the nickname Riot. It really does sound like the name of some game publisher, right? Angry, he threw the book aside. But by accident he played a recording he had never watched before. When Riot was asked whether he was scared rushing straight at criminals like that, I thought he would deny it. But he straight up admitted, "Of course I get scared. Not being scared would make me the real idiot." He also once failed to save someone because fear held him back. But from that moment he learned something priceless. Whenever fear hits, he imagines how badly he will regret it if he does not charge forward to fight. Those words completely changed Kirishima's mindset. The very next morning, he bowed his head and apologized to the two girls for his uselessness. After that, he trained non-stop, getting stronger every day, and eventually made it into Yua. Once he passed, he had to dye his hair bright and fiery pure battle mode vibes. Aceto was shocked, but when she heard his goal, she told him, "When you finally forgive yourself for not stepping in to save someone back then, tell me. There will be a surprise waiting. I swear these two are destined for each other." And of course, after a flashback, the comeback is guaranteed. Fat Gum has now absorbed enough hits to be fully charged up. With his power at full, his next punch will break through any defense. The villain sees it but still does not back down. He wants a fight to the death. But right then Kirishima runs in and blocks the entire attack for Fat Gum. Every time his armor breaks, he forms a new layer instantly. But whenever he tries to strike back, the shield user interrupts again. Kirishima collapses, but Fat Gum is still standing. The opening Kirishima created is absolutely perfect. Special move, the Saitama Punch, 1 hit, 1 kill. Meanwhile, Chisaki is escorting Eri with one of his men. It seems his upcoming plan involves the serum he is holding. And behind him are not just his follower, but also Toga and the double guy. Fat Gum is extremely worried right now. He thought Kirishima died, but thankfully the kid just fainted for a bit. Even half-conscious, Kirishima still forces out the words, "I will do everything to save you." From the moment Fat Gum saw him at the sports festival, he liked this kid already. Then, Amachiki even introduced him afterward, which made Fat Gum even happier. He knows Kirishima admires Riot and wants to be like him. And at that moment, Fat Gum fully acknowledged Kirishima's talent. But it is not over yet. The brute is still conscious. Fat Gum is completely out of stamina. If there is another round, he is definitely losing. But then the villain tells him to take the kid to the infirmary. What the hell is this? The shield guy is confused and yells that his teammate has lost his mind. He yells back, "Yeah, I am crazy, so shut your mouth." After dealing with his teammate, he turns to Fat Gum and says, "I just want to fight until I die. Because in the past, I was Steel Fist in the MMA world. A ring where I could go all out. Not many people could take one punch from me, anyone who could still beg for mercy right after. So I became stressed. If I cannot fight seriously, what is the point of living? That is why this fight truly satisfies me." He praises Kirishima as a real man and says he wants a rematch. Next time he will kill both of them properly, but for now, he invites the two to head to the infirmary and rest. Meanwhile, Urnak only has a few minutes left before the drug stops working. There is no escape route left, so he dumps all his remaining power into blocking them. The terrain starts warping again, and this time the passage keeps shrinking tighter and tighter. On this side, Kirishima has already been treated. He just needs a short rest to wake up. Fat Gum sees the guy can still talk. So, he asks why he even joined this tiny gang in the first place. The guy does not hide anything and answers straight. "Because I once lost to that bastard Chisaki. One random day he showed up and challenged me to a fight. With just one move, he shattered me completely. But right after that, I went back to normal." That is the whole story, but it leaves Fat Gum stunned. So Chisaki really is that strong? Since the guy is being chatty, he asks what Chisaki's plan is. He casually answers, ignoring the shield user screaming at him. They are planning to spread some messed up stuff across society. And to pull that off, they need a ton of money. Back over here, Yellow Eyes uses his law quirk to push the walls together. That is the best he can do, so they need to move fast. Midoriya covers all the attacks coming from behind. He keeps ruining Urinaka's attempts. He is exhausted, but thinking of his teammates fighting their hearts out fires him up again. Suddenly, Urinaka stops entirely. They think it is over, but then he creates a wall that splits the team into 3 parts. Yellow Eyes ends up facing Toga. He reacts fast, locks her arms, and punches her in the stomach. But that is just a fake copy. The real one stabs him from behind, then uses his blood to transform. When Midoriya and his teacher break through the wall, they see two Yellow Eyes standing there. Aizawa quickly figures out the enemy's trick. He instantly erases her quirk. Midoriya dodges the attack just in time. Aizawa restrains her successfully, but he still gets stabbed and she slips away. Only then does Midoriya realize that fighting style and shape-shifting quirk belong to the same girl from before. A few days earlier, Tomura sat down with Chisaki after hearing his plan. Chisaki demanded that Tomura send Toga or Kurogiri over. Of course, sending only Kurogiri would not work, but aside from that he could pick anyone. Tomura went back and ordered Toga and Twice, the clone guy, to go to the Shy Gang. Twice freaked out. Like, what the hell are you even doing? Toga did not feel like talking. If you do not want your throat cut, you better explain properly. Tomura calmly lifts his hand, showing them his terrifying face, and says, "Go in there is just for show. Deep down, you both still belong to the League of Villains. Whatever you do over there is your business." Which is why right now, Twice and Steel Fist show up and greet Naitai. He looks down on him like he is some junkie. With that skinny, weak body, what can he even do? Steel Fist rushes in first and gets a brutally bitter ending. Naitai smacks him before he can do anything. Partly because this is just a clone, so it can never match the real deal. But still, we have to admit Naitai is no lightweight at all. With those combat-made personal seals of his, plus all that stacked experience, there are very few people who could take him in a one-on-one. Enough talk, he dashes in and throws two seals right past Twice's face, scaring him into turning tail. With part of his mask gone, Twice starts getting crushed by his other personality. Right then Toga pops in, wraps a cloth around his head, and the two start roasting the big officer from Irina's side. He loses control and drags both of them, plus Midoriya's squad, down below to meet up. Right now Chisaki is holding 5 bullets that can completely erase someone's quirk, but making them costs way too much time and money. So they need to move everything to a better facility. Back to Midoriya. This Irina guy is totally out of control and cannot manage his power anymore. And Toga keeps poking at him, trash-talking the Yakuza non-stop, making him furious. But thanks to that, he slips up and reveals his location to Midoriya. Deku jumps up, kicks through the wall hiding his real body. Aizawa instantly erases his quirk, and Naitai flings a seal to knock him out cold. Finally, Midoriya catches him before he falls. Meanwhile, Togata has caught up to Chisaki. By moving non-stop and using his phasing ability, he can glide through this whole maze like it's nothing. He wants to save Eri as fast as possible, but Chodo's power knocks out his balance. That's the sloth quirk from the guy on his head. The enemy in front points a gun and tells Togata to spill what his quirk actually is. He does not want to, but his mouth blurts out everything anyway. That is Nemoto's ability. He has the confession quirk. He can force people to tell the truth when he questions them. And the drunk on top is Sakaki. With Chodao, he can make everyone around him lose balance. Both of them throw knives and fire at Togata at the same time. But with his phasing, those little cat scratch tricks mean nothing to him. After wrapping up those two clowns, it is Chisaki's turn. One punch, one kick. He grabs Eri and tells her, "Do not worry, I will be your hero." Chisaki orders Eri to come back right now if she does not want someone to die. "I told you so many times," he says. "You carry a curse. Because of you, others end up dead. And besides, you are not even really mine." He instantly smashes the ground with insane speed, not caring at all if Eri gets hurt. Why? Simple. If she gets injured, it does not matter. As long as he brings her back, he can rebuild her. Words straight from a monster with zero humanity. Togata is stuck in a tough spot now. The guy in white gets back up because Togata only knocked his balance off earlier. And with Chisaki there too, it is seriously rough. Togata immediately uses his cape to cover Eri so the white coat dude misses his shot. Right after, Togata pops up from underground to hit him from behind, but Chisaki sees it coming. He does not stop there. He pops up behind Chisaki, drives his arm straight into his face, then turns to Eri. He reads the next move and blocks it clean. "I will not let you touch her. You lost, Chisaki." Nemoto still is not fully out. He shouts for his young master. Chisaki hears him and throws over the case of bullets, but only one reaches his hand. One shot. If he misses, they are all done for. After thinking it through, he aims straight at Eri. He guesses Togata's heart perfectly. Of course Togata would give up everything to save her. With a smile, he takes the bullet for her. As a kid, Togata was saved by a hero. He wanted to become one too, even if his quirk was insanely hard to use. His father even gave up hero work because of that. But seeing how determined his son was, he chose to stand by him. Yes, even without his quirk. Togata's resolve does not fade. He keeps moving, predicting every enemy action, ignoring the pain and even the holes in his body, fighting to protect Eri until his very last breath. The more they clash, the angrier Chisaki gets. He keeps attacking Togata. But right then, a golden boy face of the hero world appears. A few minutes earlier, Midoriya's team had already restrained Arena, and by then it was clear. The League of Villains was involved in this mess. According to Izawa, Midoriya needed to pull out immediately. But Mr. Goldeyes spoke up for him. "What is our top priority? You forgot. Everyone above us. The officers separated from us down here. Kirishima, Fat Gum, Togata, everyone is giving their all so we can move forward. We are almost at the finish line, so go. Move now. Do not hesitate." Everyone charges ahead as he says. Meanwhile, up above, Toga and Twice are cooking up something. Twice suddenly gets a bright idea that hypes Toga up. They only need to wait for the heroes and Yakuza to beat each other half dead. Then swoop in and snatch Eri. That is the story behind why Midoriya showed up at the perfect time. Yeah, Dilther planned it all, folks. Midoriya punches Chisaki straight away, sending him flying, and Izawa erases his quirk. Togata can finally relax and leave the rest to everyone else. "You did great. You have done more than enough." Teacher and student keep attacking Chisaki, giving him no space to move. But the white coat villain suddenly strikes back, hitting Izawa with repeated slowdowns. Earlier, Chisaki had healed the white coat guy's head just enough to reduce the damage. Izawa cannot keep his eyes open much longer, so Midoriya gets trapped by a forest of sharp pillars. After that, Chisaki uses Nemoto's body to upgrade himself. A horrifying act. There is not a shred of humanity left in him. A four-armed monster is born. And down below, Izawa gets stabbed again by the white coat guy. They want to take him alive because his quirk is way too valuable to Chisaki. Since he just got stabbed again, for the next one he will move even slower than a snail. Hari is his name, and his quirk is slowing things down. He attacks by extending his hair like ropes. Chisaki has already healed all of his injuries. He is a clean freak, so just a tiny splash of blood already drives him insane. And now, he is forced to look like this. There are no words for it. He mocks Togata to make himself feel better. If you had not gotten involved with Eri, your quirk would not have vanished forever. Yes, forever. You lost your quirk but stayed stubborn, and now your allies are paying the price. And now all of you will die. But as long as Midoriya is still standing, he will not let Chisaki do whatever he wants. Naitai steps aside, throws to seals to distract him, then calls Midoriya over to Togata while he handles the villain. With battle-hardened experience, Naitai dodges Chisaki's attacks easily without even using foresight. Just like he taught Togata. Use your combat instincts to predict every step your enemy will take. And now that he has activated foresight, everything is laid out in front of him. But the ending is nothing like what he expected. Meanwhile, Midoriya kicks open a wall so Togata can take Eri away. Suddenly, she starts crying non-stop. And behind him, Naitai is pierced through by countless sharp spikes. The future where everyone survives. That future never existed. Midoriya gets furious, powering up as he charges in. His body screams in pain, but he forces himself to move. One for all at 20% is the most he can handle right now. He has to land a hit straight on Chisaki's head. If he misses, it is over, and yeah, he misses. Painful. Togata is also forcing his body to move again. You have to stand up now. Eri, run. You will be safe. Go, Eri. Back to Midoriya. He has done everything he can, but he still cannot knock Chisaki out. Chisaki uses Nemoto's ability to order Eri to come back immediately. Eri moves toward him like she is being controlled. All she wants is to beg Chisaki to save everyone. A soul that kind and innocent, yet she ends up facing a monster like him. Chisaki keeps ranting about Midoriya's stubbornness. Your actions bring Eri the most suffering. She does not need you to save her. This is the future Naitai saw. Chisaki escapes. Almost everyone dies. But even if that is true, even if you do not want my help, you cried, did you not? No one will die. I will save everyone. Right then, a whirlwind crashes down as the remaining heroes arrive. And again, the question, how did they show up so perfectly on time? A few minutes earlier, the big guy had been captured. His quirk absorbs life force from anyone he touches. He was planning to chase after Naitai, but then he started acting strange. Because the stimulant drug finally kicked in, he could now drain life without even touching anyone. The number 9 hero has to transform again to hold the line for everyone. Even while her life force is getting drained, Hato still flies up and blasts shockwaves to pull his attention. Midoriya suddenly shows up and points everyone toward where Chisaki is standing. The number 9 hero immediately restrains the big guy so Uraraka can erase his weight. Then Asui drags him along with her tongue like walking a dog. With that super clean teamwork, everyone reaches the real Midoriya because the one earlier was a fake. That was twice his whole plan. He copied the magician guy to use his underground tunneling power. Toga disguised herself as Midoriya to tip the heroes off. And the clone magician is the one who went down to bring Eri up here. But he's a knockoff. He does not get a say. Get back down there. Meanwhile below, Chisaki has used his power to fling Eri into the sky in the most extreme way, making Midoriya furious. Togata's cape accidentally flies up with her, and Eri sees it. She sinks into guilt and self-blame again. But deep down, Eri truly wants someone to save her. Her past is honestly tragic. She carries a mutated gene. She has a power no one else in her family possesses. She is the boss's granddaughter. Eri's mother abandoned her, saying she was a cursed child. Nobody knows the truth, but one day, when Eri's father touched her, his entire body vanished. Her power seems somewhat similar to Chisaki's. So, he was put in charge of studying her quirk. After countless cruel experiments, he kept slicing her arm open to test it. But no matter how many times he cut, it healed instantly. Eri's power is the strength to reverse things. And right now, she is using it on Chisaki. As for Midoriya, he has no choice but to save her. He tells himself, you have to do this. You let go of her once. This time, you have to hold her tight. Once she is in his arms, he will never let go again. No matter how many obstacles or trials Chisaki throws at them, he will not let her go through that ever again. Without realizing it, Midoriya launches straight into the sky, exactly like All Might once did. In other words, he has lost control and is using One for All at full power. Below, Chisaki stands up and slowly walks to the big guy, then fuses their bodies together. That is when Nightai speaks up. Everyone will be fine. At least for now, he will not target anyone else. He will head for the surface, chase Midoriya, and then kill him. Hearing that, Uraraka wants to rush to help Midoriya, but her body has no strength left. Nightai tells everyone not to waste their energy. The future I saw cannot be changed. But when he sees Uraraka still forcing herself to stand and fight, just like that green-haired kid, honestly, the two really do look like a future couple. He decides to take one gamble. He begs everyone to bring him up to the surface right now. Even though Midoriya just used full power, his legs feel like nothing even happened. He knows for sure this is Eri's power. But suddenly he starts writhing like he is being crushed from the inside. Chisaki surfaces and says, the girl still cannot control her power. She knows how to use it, but not how to stop it. She rewinds people. She can even turn them back into vapor. Her power is a curse. If you do not want to be destroyed, hand her over. Trash talk all you want. If you are that bold, come take her yourself. Midoriya realizes that the moment his leg snapped, Eri rewound it before he even felt pain. He tells her, your power is a blessing. Do not believe a guy who has dragged his own name through the mud like that. If she really cannot stop, then he just has to create heavy damage faster than she rewinds it. That is the one condition Midoriya needs to go all out. One for all through his whole body at 100% power. For the first time since he switched to using his legs. And this time it is full body, not just one limb. With a single kick, he almost smashes Chisaki to bits. Chisaki's original plan was to use Eri as the core of a whole trade. Use her body to make a drug that erases quirks forever. And also use her body to create a drug that restores quirks. Only then could the Yakuza group rise again. Even with such a perfect plan, the old man refused. Just because Eri is also a human being. Chisaki raged and put the old man to sleep, saying he would wake him only after his goal was met. So even now, he stubbornly wants to take Eri back no matter what. But Midoriya in this state is no different from All Might in his prime. And back then, All Might had no rival. Kamehameha, One for All 100% version. The battle ends with Midoriya's final earth-shattering punch. This is not what Nightai saw at all. This future feels completely different. So does that mean the future can be changed by main character Aura? Hearing that Chisaki has lost, the white coat villain decides to finish off Aizawa, but wanting it does not make it happen. Amajiki, by some miracle, stands back up and arrives in time to save his teacher. Midoriya is still running at 100%, but Eri has completely lost control now. She is firing her power everywhere, pushing Midoriya to the brink of death. Chisaki suddenly screams, and in his unconscious rage he tries one last attack on Midoriya. Of course, he cannot touch him, and Uraraka manages to capture him alive in time. But something is seriously off with Midoriya. He is straining with everything he has against Eri's Ruwen power. She is also begging herself on the inside to stop. Luckily, Aizawa is brought up just in time, so he erases Eri's quirk. Only now is everything truly over. All that is left is for the heroes to clean up the aftermath. Most of the fighters are seriously injured, but none of it compares to Naitai. Right then, he can only say one thing to Midoriya. You changed the future. He cannot hear what Midoriya is trying to say as he is rushed onto the ambulance. A moment later, Chisaki is taken to the nearest hospital for emergency treatment. Right in front of them is the League's truck, waiting thanks to Toga's tip-off. Dabi instantly blasts flames toward the vehicle, but the sand hero inside blocks it all. Tomura tells Spinner to slow down, then jumps over only to be held down by the sand hero. But that is just bait. The magician is the real key. He summons a stone and flips the truck into the air for Tomura to finish the job. Dabi teams up with the magician to take out the sand hero next. Tomura walks up to Chisaki, mocks him for being so full of himself he ended up like this. Then shows off the case of bullets he just stole to make him burn inside. And finally turns all four of Chisaki's limbs to dust and cuts them off. Chisaki is now officially disabled. He can never use his quirk again. This is something Tomura has wanted to do for a very long time. He leaves, letting Chisaki's agonizing screams echo behind him. Meanwhile, the heroes finish tallying the damage. 4 buildings collapsed, but only 3 people were lightly hurt. Hoda lands and explains it is all thanks to the hero called Deku. He blasted Chisaki into the sky to minimize the destruction. As for Midoriya, after a full checkup, Aizawa comes to pick him up. He also updates him on everyone's condition so he will not worry. Kirishima is wrapped like a mummy, but still kicking. Amajiki has a serious facial injury, but he will be fine. Fat Gum has normal fractures. And the golden-eyed hero luckily took only soft tissue damage. Eri still has a fever and is isolated because her power is a major problem right now. Good news always hides a bit of bad news behind it. The doctors, especially the nurse, only say one sentence. We did everything we could. That is all you need to hear to know someone will not make it. Naitai is too badly injured. At most, he has until tomorrow. Seeing All Might here makes him genuinely happy. He says, I am not angry at you at all. I just wanted to change the future where you died. But today, Midoriya showed me thanks to the determination not only in him but in everyone. All that resolve has gathered inside Midoriya. The future is no longer fixed. It can be changed. Togat arrives to see him one last time, face full of grief. Naitai tells him a few things too. At first, I only meant to use you as a vessel for one for all, but you trusted me. Before I realized it, you had already become my pride. In the future, you will be a hero greater than anyone. So keep smiling, just like the smile I leave this world with. Naitai passes away, mourned by everyone. Meanwhile, Gran Torino heads to the forest where someone reported spotting Kurogiri. The moment he arrives, someone reports Kurogiri's exact location. Gran Torino rockets in at his fastest speed and nails him with a direct kick. The most troublesome member of the League of Villains is captured by him. But this guy does not look panicked at all and instead starts telling a story. A story about All for One's most loyal subordinate. That man was always looking toward the future. Back then, he had warned him. If one day I am gone, and you feel uneasy, go to that forest and rely on him. That giant, Gigantomachia, is the one All for One raised with great effort. Back to Midoriya. He gets discharged from the hospital that day, but he feels guilty when he hears the news about the League attacking the transport that was holding Chisaki. Aizawa quickly changes the subject so he will not overthink it. The students have all returned to school. Only Togata has to stay a few more days for the doctors to keep a close eye on him. Thanks to the nurse, everyone's injuries healed up really fast. But Eri is still the same. No progress at all. Midoriya suddenly wants to visit Togata for a bit, so he asks his teacher to hold his stuff. When he opens the hospital room door, he sees Togata training his body with a smile on his face. Midoriya freezes in shock, not knowing what to say, so Togata speaks up first. I know I have lost my quirk, and my teacher has passed away. There is no way anyone could smile right now. But that is exactly why I cannot collapse at a time like this. In his final moments, Nightai told me to always keep a smile on my face. So, I am not going to cry. If I am sad now, Eri will feel terrible too. Those words make Midoriya rethink everything. Right then, he has to admit, if you had been the successor, maybe Sir Nightai would not have died. And All Might's future might be different too. If I could pass my power on to you, then Togata cuts him off right there and says he does not need it. If you gave your power to me, you would be in trouble, right? Besides, yesterday Mr. Izawa told me that, if Eri can fully master her quirk someday, there is a good chance she can rewind me back to when I still had my power. And even if that does not work, I will find another way. One way or another, I will be back. Nightai used his foresight to look into my future at the very end, so you do not need to worry. Hearing that, Midoriya finally feels at peace enough to head home. By coincidence, he runs into Kirishima, but both of them are invited to the station to answer some questions about the Shide group. It is late at night by the time they are released back to the dorms. Right then, Uraraka and Asui also return, so all four of them arrive together. Seeing all four safe and sound makes everyone really happy. Even that punk Bakugo comes downstairs to sit and wait for Midoriya. That says enough. But his pride is still a bit too high, so he decides to head back to his room. Even more surprising, Shoto does the exact same thing. Everyone says tomorrow the two of them officially start their license course, so you cannot really blame them. The next morning, that punk Bakugo is yelling his head off just because Shoto dared to go ahead of him. Today, Frieza, Mick and All Might are escorting the two of them to the training site. Izawa took a long leave because he has to keep Eri's power under control. All Might remembers Torino calling earlier saying he caught Kurogiri, but he regrets letting the most troublesome monster slip away. A walking beast created by All for One himself. The police are sealing off the forest to search for it, but it looks hopeless. Very quickly, the four of them arrive. They are about to grab breakfast when they run into Endeavor. He wants a word with All Might, so Mick gets the hint and dips instantly. Shoto, on the other hand, bumps into the person he least wants to see. The girl from before also came to train. And of course, that purple-haired kid who loves messing with Bakugo is here too. A moment later, all the failed examinees have gathered. And naturally, the host is still that half-asleep uncle. All Might also steps in. He tries to find a spot to hide so nobody notices him. But standing next to Endeavor, yeah, forget that plan. Inasa runs straight into the hero he hates most. Let's see how he handles that. Meanwhile, tons of people notice All Might right away. Even retired, he is still a living legend to everyone. And now the host announces something special for today. Originally, only 10 students were supposed to retake the exam, but Kami will join too because she qualifies for the extra class. The purple-haired dude shouts from the stands that Kami is a total airhead, which is exactly why she got targeted. When she woke up, she was still dazed like she had no idea what happened. She fainted for an entire week out of nowhere. Who would even want that? Just tragic. Thanks to the US student testimony confirming everything, she got a spot in this extra class. Otherwise, nothing at all. It is time to start, so today's teacher steps inside. Still the same familiar face, still the same terrifying attitude. Top 10 hero gang Orca is here. He says straight up, you kids are worse than the creatures at the bottom of the ocean. Especially you, the loudmouth. Do you really want to be a hero? That attitude is trash. And you, I Sandfire boy, say whatever you want. It is rude all the same. And this one, no need to ask. Rude by default. Get out. He knows all three of them are strong fighters, but that alone is not enough. You act like fools. You do not respect the people you are supposed to save. You are stubborn and refuse to give way. That is why today's lesson is about the heart. First, they all have to pass this test. Let us see whether you can understand them or not. The kids charge in like a swarm without listening to their teacher at all. Watching her cry like that makes my heart hurt. These little gremlins can probably only be handled by Bakugo. A blonde kid stands in a corner and warns the heroes to give up already. No matter what you do, it will not work. Shoto at this point is being teased nonstop. They say he is carrying a fake bird. He tries to explain it as first aid equipment, but none of them listen. Inasa is not doing any better, but instead of focusing on the kids, he just glares at Endeavor, cursing him in his head. Because he is distracted, he immediately gets what he deserves. As for Kami, with that ridiculously attractive body, dealing with kids is easier than breakfast. But her tricks only work on the boys. To the girls, she looks like some kind of sly fox spirit. RMC has been watching this mess and cannot hold it in anymore, so he jumps down to comment and hype things up. Meanwhile, Endeavor wants to tell All Might something. Crime rates this past month rose by 3% compared to last year. He handled more cases than anyone, yet things keep getting worse. So tell me, former #1 hero, what is the meaning of being a symbol of peace? Down below, Bakugo is getting toyed with like a cat. Kami is still hated to the core by the girls. Seeing this makes the teacher feel extremely guilty. She only wanted to raise these kids into good people. But since they have quirks and the kindergarten teachers do not, the kids just ignore everything the teachers say. Hearing this, Bakugo decides to show these little gremlins what discipline really is. The menace has awakened. Let us see what he plans. Bakugo knows there is always one kid acting like the boss, leading the whole riot. Just find that kid, smack him once, and use him as an example. That is the quickest way to make the rest behave. So he shouts, "Which one of you is the strongest? Come fight me like a real man." The blonde kid speaks up again, criticizing him. Outdated violent thinking. All you do is expose how dumb you are, my guy. Inasa jumps into action too. He is energetic and lively, so the kids love playing with him. But that only lasts a moment. These little troublemakers are smart, and they prank him hard. Shoto, meanwhile, talks big. He says he knows how to handle the situation. While this goes on, Endeavor is sharing his past with All Might, a 20-year-old who climbed all the way to #2. But once he got there, he realized the next mountain. All Might's level felt like heaven and earth apart. All Might hears this and finally understands the core of his struggle. Truth is, even he himself cannot clearly define what the symbol of peace truly is. He only believed the country needed a symbol. And to build that symbol, he ignored every kindness around him. He sacrificed countless things to walk that path. So he tells Endeavor, "You do not need to copy the symbol I aim for." No idea if that got through to him, but he suddenly starts shouting his son's name. Shoto steps forward softly. He takes a deep breath, then starts introducing himself again. "Please, someone ship my idol a box of salt." He is handsome, but wow, he is bland. Bakugo finally understands the assignment and calls everyone together to strategize. Looks like the kids noticed, so they gather up too, ready for an all-out brawl with the heroes. According to the teacher, the kids fully believe their quirks are stronger than the heroes and genuinely want to defeat them. They all attack at once, unleashing their powers. Dust, lightning, hammers, basically every kind of power imaginable. Kids today are insanely strong. The MC wonders how they can be this powerful at such a young age. Purple Hair explains that new generations have quirks mixed more intensely, making them stronger, more complicated, and way harder to control. The teacher feels too guilty and tries to stop them. But hold up, sit down, teacher. Heroes today are not that weak. The kids start panicking when they realize the heroes are completely unfazed. The little girl panics and fires off another attack. Shoto shows up right after, looking all cool and dreamy like he is flirting with her in broad daylight. FBI washing, except it is actually Kami. So yeah, no FBI needed. Her quirk lets her create short-term illusions. Bakugo immediately clowns Shoto by copying that exact smug face. The blonde kid gets mad, refusing to accept this brutal reality. He insists he can use his power way better than this. But then a massive gust of wind covers the whole arena. Inasa decides it is time to teach the kids a lesson they'll never forget. Shoto and Kami team up with him to boost the intimidation factor. Kami creates a rainbow glow, mixing with Shoto's ice slide. They turn the whole arena into a one-of-a-kind playground for the kids. Add a swirling ring of fire and the place becomes peak amazement. A cool breeze plus an icy slide makes everything look more magical than ever. The kids start completely changing their view of heroes. Everyone is begging Shoto to lift them up there to play. And all of this is actually Bakugo's plan. Make the kids think heroes are insanely cool instead of beating them down. If the kids lose to heroes they already look down on, the problem will only get worse. This is the real answer to the heart lesson the top 10 assigned. Bakugo walks over to the blonde kid and drags him to the ice slide. He gives him one piece of advice. If you keep looking down on others, you will never see your own weaknesses. The kid can tell this is genuine advice. Words straight from the heart, he cannot just ignore them. On the side, Present Mick tells the teacher, "From here on out, it is your turn, please guide them well." At the end of the first lesson, Gang Orca praises everyone. They all have potential, so keep pushing next time. When class is dismissed, everyone heads out together. But surprisingly, teachers from UA and Shitsu are discussing something outside, since the League of Villains recently targeted other schools too, like Kami's. Both schools are talking about sharing information in the future. Endeavor also wants to talk to his son for a moment, but Shoto is too blunt, so Endeavor gets straight to the point. "I am proud of you, my son. So, I will become a hero you can be proud of. Your father will be the #1 hero, the strongest of all." Inasa immediately punches himself in the face and runs over, saying he will support Endeavor. Everything changes eventually, nothing lasts forever, especially old grudges. I'd like to end Season 4 here. See you all in the final part of Season 4.